great time. I got to work in Atlanta, which is somewhere I hadn't spent a lot of time before. Got to work with this amazing cast, including Kevin Bacon, who, I was a teenager when he was kind of breaking through with things like Footloose and goodness, so many other amazing movies. So it was a bit of a thrill for me to get to work with him, and also to find out what a lovely guy he is.
Yeah, and in terms of this opportunity, I spoke to Beth there last night, and she told me someone had reached out to her, and then she sort of did a bit of taping for the role, and then there was another sort of a meet back in terms of that. How did opportunity come about for you to get involved? Did the producers, directors, Granger, David? I know Kevin Bacon's an executive producer on this. Did they to reach out to you personally, or was it through a talent agent?
Yeah, through my American agent, Eric Olson, who's one of the producers and the showrunner, and Kevin had somehow come across my show reel actually, which is the sort of 5 or 6 minute video of various clips of my acting stuff from over the years that most actors kind of have, that sort of shows what they can do, I guess. And they'd come across that, and through that, I did an interview with them on over Zoom. I was in Australia at the time, and I think a day or two after that, I found out I had the part.
Yeah, and obviously coming as an Australian to play a traditional American, a sort of a redneck sort of character, how did you interpret that? Obviously, there's a bit of an accent or a twinge that sort of goes with that as well. To get into that zone, to get into that character, how did you picture Lucky Callahan and develop a voice for him?
Well, there was a dialect coach on set, for because there were a lot of people had accents. Everyone else had Southern accents. I had to do a Boston accent, which I'd never done before. I'd done a few other American accents before, but Boston is very specific. And look, I think to the untrained ear, it's probably fine. I think if you're from Boston, I'm sure you'd be like, wait a second. Bit like, so I'm sure that happens in Ireland all the time where foreign actors do Irish accents and you're like, come on, we're not leprechauns here. What are you doing? Um, but
No, everyone tries to intimidate a Conor McGregor accent at the moment, and in
is that right?
Ireland, Conor McGregor, that's a Dublin accent. It's very unique to the Dubs in Ireland, but 99% of Irish people do not sound like that. If you go to Southern Ireland, it's sort of stuff.
Right.
So in Ireland, there's four sort of tones. There's the Northern, there's the Dub, then there's the real Southern, and then there's everyone else. So
Oh,
like myself,
wow.
we all fit into everyone else. So when you hear the Dub, the Conor McGregor sort of voice like that, it's completely set to the Dublin and nowhere else.
That's so interesting. Yeah, wow. Okay. Well, so I had to do this because the character of Lucky, he's from Boston. He's moved to the South. Basically, he was an ex-gangster. He's now trying to live the clean life. He's running a nightclub that his girlfriend performs at, and his girlfriend is the ex-wife of Kevin Bacon's character, Hub Halloran, and so he kind of becomes the nemesis for the show.
Yeah, and obviously, I suppose filming in Atlanta, Georgia, we there 4 to 5 weeks. Do you fit an awful lot into 30-minute episodes? I've seen the series. I've seen the first 8 episodes myself, and oh my God, you've probably fit in an hour's worth of content into really 30 sort of minutes in terms of that. There is so much going on that if you left the room for a second or blinked or dare I say to get a cup of tea, you might have, dare I say, missed so many sort of eye-catching moments. It's non-stop.
Yeah, you're not wrong. It really is kind of amazing how much they get done in 30 minutes, and it's actually I'm really glad the show's 30 minutes long because you cannot get bored watching this show. Some shows these days are an hour long and you're like, okay, come on, move along. This thing is just jam packed with story and action and bit of comedy thrown in. And as you say, it's over in no time. You could bang the show out in a day really because it's 8 30-minute episodes, so you could really binge this one.
Yeah, what I loved about it was the fact that it was only 8 episodes. You see, with some series in the past, they go for the big eight, the magic number 18, 20 episode start the season. And you're going in there and it's probably rolling out once every week and it's over a 5, 6 month process. And after month two, you're as a fan, as a somebody watching the show, you're probably exhausted from it. There's the whole sort of wait for that sort of a week sort of anticipation as well, and then maybe the appeal, the retention goes down, and then TV viewers, executives probably looking and say, "Oh, there was a drop off there in the last month." But this is nice. This is a nice take to it. It gives you a little taster, little feeder of what it's about, and makes you want sort of more, want you to come back. It's sort of nice and sort of steady, sort of paced, and there's no overkill. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, I thoroughly agree. I think it's a really fun, easy watch. It's kind of it's like a ride. You got to get on and and sort of and go with it, you know.
Yeah, and your sort of character, dare I say, he's a guy that's the antagonist in terms of the first series of the Bondsman as well, and we get to see he's shady sort of background, he's sort of mob connections, and a good lot of action and stunt scenes for yourself. Was that really enjoyable?
Yeah, that stuff is enjoyable, especially when the stunt guy comes in and takes over the really hard part. But you know, just getting to get thrown around by these demons and like rolling on the ground and firing guns and that stuff's pretty fun. You kind of think about how you back to your childhood and think, wow, if I knew I was going to get to do this when I grew up, if only I knew that.
Yeah, and I suppose we won't give much away for our audience that's probably tuning in, and obviously we're not going to spoil the series for them, but it sort of brings you on this sort of nice journey, and then holy moly, there's a big massive cliffhanger that sort of finishes the unexpected sort of a turn that leaves you sort of questioning, oh, that's quite an interesting sort of take in it. Where are they going to develop this, or where are they going to take it from? It's probably sort of so left field that you wouldn't expect it.
Completely, yeah. I think that's what's cool about having a kind of a setup and a premise like this one, where you've got Kevin Bacon's character who's basically, at the very very opening of the show, realizes he's been murdered, and he's now, not a bondsman chasing down criminals in real life. He's chasing down demons in the afterlife, and but on planet Earth for the devil. It's a really cool concept, and it does open up so many opportunities for where the show can go, in seasons coming along after this one.
And I do believe, Damon, it's busy times for you currently at the moment. A good lot of productions coming our way in 2025. Maybe guest appearances on a TV series in the works, movies coming along our way. Is there anything that you have disclosure that you maybe can mention to our audience and our viewers about?
Yeah, there's a couple of things coming out. There's a movie called Together, which it's a fantastic body horror comedy with Dave Franco and Alison Brie. Just had a big record breaking sale at Sundance. It's coming out in August. I highly recommend that movie. I've seen it, and it is just really fantastic. Then I'm in the sequel to Mortal Kombat, the video game based movie. I did the voice of Cabal in the first movie, and now I'm playing Quan Chi, a character on screen in the second movie, which is kind of cool. So yeah, but got those things both of those coming out. And I'm currently shooting a sequel to, well, not a sequel actually. It's more of a spin-off to the show Reacher, the Amazon series. So I've been very fortunate and kept busy.
Yeah, definitely. I know with the Mortal Kombat fan base, I think it's like over like 40 or 50 million. I know in terms of around the world. I know in terms of that. So definitely, you get involved in that sort of series. It stays with you sort of lifelong in terms of that. So it's probably one of the big kudos I think in terms of that, given the fan base that it has around the world. It's huge.
Yeah, it is exciting. It's sort of exciting and intimidating when I think about that because I know video game fans are hardcore, and when you play a character that they're familiar with, you don't want to get it wrong. So I'm a little bit scared, but I'm also excited.
Yeah. And I suppose, Damon, in terms of the Bondsman as well, there's so many different sort of angles and sort of storylines and arcs where you can sort of take this on. But what is so central to the success of it, I feel, is that family dynamism, that family sort of connection, and obviously the relationship between Beth Grant and Kevin Bacon. It's just second to none. The chemistry that they have together. I joked with Beth there last night. I said to her, "How does it feel playing the mother to Kevin Bacon when you're only 7 years older than him in real life?" And she was like, she sort of took it well, but it almost feels like they could be mother and son when you just watch them on screen.
It does. I think, Beth's sort of leaning into playing an older character than when you meet her in real life. She doesn't seem old at all. And Kevin, is he just is in such amazing shape for his age. You would never guess that I think he's 66,
Yeah.
67. I mean, it's, when I was a kid, that used to be an old man, but not, not anymore. Not if you're Kevin Bacon, apparently.
And Damon, I do believe you were in Ireland in the past.
Yes, I've done one trip to Ireland when I was shooting the Robbie Williams biopic Better Man. I had a couple of weeks spare in the lead up to the scene we shot in Regent Street, and had a couple of friends working in Dublin. So I visited Dublin, had an amazing time there, and then I drove across to the other side of the country to the amazing cliffs, which I've forgotten the name already. What were they
Cliffs of
called?
Moher in County Clare. Cliffs of Moher in
Yes,
County Clare.
yes, which was just absolutely stunning. And it was a big drive. I was like, wow, I was by the end, because I drove there and back in a day. It was a lot of driving, but it
Two
was
and a half, 2 hours and 45 minutes or somewhere around that.
something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And but my goodness, was it worth it? It was absolutely stunning. And then I kind of hung out in the town centre over there for a couple of hours as well, and wandered around the markets and yeah, what a beautiful country. Absolutely stunning.
And Damon, for the final 30 seconds, I'll turn it over to you. You might enlighten all our audience, all our listeners, why they should tune in to season one of Bondsman. Well, out now in terms of they can binge watch it, take it as watch it as their own steady pace. It's on Amazon Prime. You played the character Lucky Callahan alongside Kevin Bacon, Beth Grant, Jennifer Nettles. When they tune into the Bondsman, Damon Herriman, what's in store for them?
I think just a heck of a ride. There's a lot of craziness going on in the world right now. This is a chance to turn your mind off and sit down and have some really great escapist entertainment.